Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. This is your host, ID Jester. This is part number 7. You can see I'm back to mini me here because we're actually going to be using that side of the screen over there with something else today. So we're back to little mini me. Hopefully that it doesn't freak everyone out. Anyways, this is part 7 of our role playing series, and we're going to be talking today about creating a character. We're going to actually create a character from scratch, but before we do that, just some guidelines or basic thoughts that I have about creating a character. So, use the videos that we talked about, guidelines for you on creating a character. Make something interesting, make something that's going to fit well within your DM or the setting of the world. Find something that's going to play well with other people, etc., etc., etc. So, check out that episode if you haven't already. And then, of course, when we're talking about a character, we're just right now at the process of we're not going to be putting stats down on a sheet of, on a character sheet or anything like that. At this point, we're just creating the character. We're creating what this character is like. So if we just look at this portrait in the background, we have this dwarf here. He's got a grim look on his face. He's got a broken helmet. He's got these spirits surrounding him. He's got a stern look on his face, almost questioning what's his story. How did he get to be in this predicament? What situations, what encounters did he come through in his life to end up in the predicament that he's in right now? So that's what we're looking at. We have a character, X, Y, and Z, whatever we call them. What makes them up? What drives this character? What is their history? What is their likes, their dislikes? What flaws do they have? What's their personality traits? So that's what we're looking at in this episode. We're not going to be putting stats down on a character sheet or anything like that. We're just outlining the true character part, and then of course you can fill the other part in with whatever role playing system you're using, whether it's Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder or whatever. You can use your knowledge of your character to fill in what his makeup is. If you think he's going to be strong or weak or whatever. So let's get to it. So, as we talked about, I can bring this up a little bit better. So, what defines our character? It's going to be, as we talked about in the last episode, our location, our family, what have we done, led us to be where we're at now, why do we become an adventurer, and what is our current goals. So, that's kind of some of the things to think about. So, let's put our creative brains together here, shall we? I almost thought about doing this as a live stream to get people's opinions and we can form one. I might do that in another episode, though. Um, let's just outline one this time, see how people enjoy this, and if you did enjoy it, we can always create another character during a live stream or a couple characters. So I'm thinking just outline here, just coming off the top of my head. Um, I got a small family, and we are farmers. Farmers, Farmer. There we go. We're farmers, so we're a farmer family, right? I'm the only son. I'm the only son. O-N, not S-U-N. Thank you. So I'm the only son. So I'm thinking, there's got to be something to cause me to, you know, leave my leave my farm to go adventuring. And what is that going to be? So we got to figure out, because it's not doesn't make sense as we talked about in the previous episode if we don't have a reason for that. So something obviously happened. Either our family just stopped being farmers, or since I'm the only son, okay. So what we're going to have is my father has died of an illness. So my father had died of an illness. So that puts me in charge of the farm. being the only son. So I'm taking care of the farm to help feed myself and my mother, right? But all the other boys and girls are coming of age and sent out to school or sent out for training. That's a good way to put it. So I'm stuck at home. I'm the farmer. All my friends are now coming of age as we're turning into 16-year-olds or 17 or whatever in the world. And now they're starting to be sent out for training. The boys are going to join, the military or become squires, become knights or, whatever. They're going to join different guilds, however your world is set up. And I'm stuck at home. I got to take care of the farm, and I'm resentful for this. So we're going to put down up here at the top. Oop. All right, we'll put down some of our traits, and of course, all of this can change as we resentful, because I'm stuck at home. Resentful, stuck at home, and everybody else has gone off for training. And I was so looking forward to going out to become a mage. I can't go out for training to become a mage, right? So I'm typing down things. You don't need to type this up if you're just thinking about it in your head or whatever. So I'm resentful. I'm stuck at home because my friends are going out. They're getting to join the army, or they get to become a squire, or they're going to join different guilds. They're going to go learn from the great wizards. They're going to study. I've been studying myself at home, trying to get the knowledge so that I can pass the wizard test to join them. But now I can't go because I'm stuck at home. So, all right. So I like that so far. And what we're going to do here is, so a couple years goes by, and my friends, they start returning back, and they are, starting to get knowledge and skills that they are, and I'm resentful that I'm stuck at home. My friends feel bad for me, but it just makes me angry that, I had to stay home. I didn't get this training that everybody else got. I didn't get to go to the Wizard Tower. So one night, I'm dreaming. Dreams are always good. Dreaming, and entity comes to my dreams. So an entity comes to my dreams and says, "Listen, boy, listen. We can give you the knowledge. We can give you the skills. Don't waste your time going to school. We can just give you the power." Yeah, well, okay, give it to me. Well, there's a cost, my friend. There's a cost. You must obey me if that's what you wish to do. Oh, no, I can't do that. No, so I wake up from this nightmare. But then, a couple weeks later, the entity comes back and says, "Have you thought about my offer?" No, it's just, I have to take care of the family, I have to take care of the farm, everything relied on me. I can't. Listen, you don't need to go to school. We'll give you the power. Just give it to you. You will be. I'll tell you what, we'll give it to you on a 24-hour trial period, just to see if you enjoy it. So, the entity gives me this power. I wake up from my dreams, and the next day, I can start using magic, creating magical energy balls and shooting them at the different animals at the farm. Oh, I'm thinking, wow, this is really good. I like this. Zap. Ooh, yeah. I like this. So the whole day I enjoy my power. I start thinking, well, this was easier than I thought it was going to be. But then I had to go back to sleep that night. And the entity comes back. Well, I say, no, no. I can't. I can't leave my mother. I can't leave my family. They need me. I can't just, what am I going to do with this power at home? Home means nothing to me. And the entity says, well, what if I can make it so that you're not needed at home anymore? Ooh, yeah, I would like that. Wait, no. You can make it so that I'm not needed at home and I get to keep my power. And all I have to do is whatever you ask in return? Let me think about that. So I go to sleep, wake up the next day. Wait a minute. Nothing works anymore. Oh no. Oh, and I feel so lost. I see my friends carrying their swords around. Oh my God. I talk to my lady friend, whatever her name happens to be, and she went to the wizard tower. So she was showing me one of her spells, and I'm like, oh, that's super cool. Maybe all right. So I go to bed and I decide, all right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. If I'm not needed at home, that's fine. That's great. I will just go. Give me the power. So go to sleep. Entity comes back. Just if you made up your mind. Yes. If I'm not needed at home, then I can enjoy my power. I can go out with my friends and my girlfriend or my acquaintance that I would like to be a lover with. But she doesn't see me. She just sees me as the farmer boy, right? And so yes, give me as long as I'm not needed at home, I'll be free. It won't be locked anymore. Give me the power. I agree. So you have given me the power. Thank you. Next day, wake up. Zap, zap, zap. Oh, I'm all happy again. This is going to work out well. Talk to mommy. Hey, mom. Things are going to change around here pretty soon, I think. I think things are going to be better for us. Somehow, some way, things are going to be better for us. I really feel happy. Oh, son, I love you so much. You're such a good boy. I know it's hard for you to stay at home with all your friends being sent off to school and such and learning all these great things. And you're taking such good care of your mother, such good care of the farm. I appreciate you, son. I love you so much. And then, of course, I go to bed. I wake up the next morning thinking, yep, bzz, 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 bzz. I still got my power. Good, good, good. I go to check on mom, and she's dead. She died in her sleep last night. That's why I'm not needed at the farm anymore. Okay. The plot thickens. So now, all of a sudden, I am now angry because I've power. I've chosen power over. What's a good way of putting this? I've chosen power over not family, because I didn't know that was going to happen. but I've chose power over duty. That's a good way of putting it. Thank you, whoever put that in the chat. No, I'm not running a live stream. Just kidding. So now I'm like, okay, so I'm angry because now this entity has tricked me. It's tricked me because it said I wasn't going to be needed at the farm anymore, but it didn't tell me it was going to kill my mother. That was not part of the deal. So I go to bed and I sleep, but the entity doesn't come back. For 2 weeks, I try to sleep. I try to sleep as much as I can, and the entity never comes back. And now I'm stuck. So that's kind of a little background that we have for our character. Of course, now we can fill it in. So location, we're going to be in any. We would talk to our dungeon master at this point and just find a location that has like a farming community. That might, a small farming community. Small farming community. Within the location of the adventure. I'm sure there'll be plenty of different small farming communities. Lord knows that if you were playing in Scotland, small farming community, you could throw a rock anywhere and find a small farming community. Just kidding. So family. Questions about her family. Are they alive or dead? Well, father dead. Father, F-A-T-H-E, dead. Mother dead. Thanks to me. Well, probably not thanks to me. I mean, she was older. She could have just died of some natural causes. But for me, I think I killed her. But no, I can't tell anybody that. Throw me in jail. Mother dead. Only son. So I don't have to worry about having too many other things. What have I done? What a great question. What have I done? Well, let's see. Farming. Killed mother. Killed mother. Oh yeah, farming. Killed my mother. Let's see. We can fill out the rest of that. What led to where you are now? Why did you become an adventurer? Yeah. What are our current goals? So let's think about this now. So our character is now free. He's unshackled from the requirements to stay at the farm. He's gotten some money as he sold the farm to someone, and he's taken that to buy some equipment, and he seeks out revenge. Now, revenge is not a good word. I'm kind of, my character, I keep saying me because, well, that's me. At this point, I'm thinking it's me. Me, not mini me, right? All right. So I'm thinking, I'm in a rock and a hard place here, right? Because if I confront this entity and I tell him, no, I refuse to do what you say, he'll take my power away, then I will be worthless. I won't have any skills, I won't have any training, and I won't have any power. So I'm kind of stuck in a rock and a hard place now because this entity has kind of forced me into a situation. But in the back of my mind, my current goal would be to undo the unfair treaty with the dream entity. Entity? Is that right? Okay. To undo the unfair treaty with the dream entity. Entity, there we go. Thank you. So that would be my character goal. Is to find a way to, but also keep the power this entity, T-I-N-Y, bestowed to me. Right? Entity. Why can't I spell it? E-N-I-T-Y. No, E-N-T-I-T-Y. Entity. 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 To undo the unfair treaty with this dream entity, but also keep the power this entity bestows to me. Alright, why did I become an adventurer? So is there more to our story? See, at this point, what I would try to do you know, we talked about that couple of my love interests that had gone out to become magic users and such. Um, maybe I'm trying to show uh, what was the girl I like? What was her name? It was Mary Beth, Mary Lynn, yeah, Mary Lynn. That I am worthy. So I'm going to show Mary Lynn that I am worthy to marry. And hope she sees me as a powerful person that can take care of her. All right. So I don't like Mary Lynn. We're going to change that. We're going to change it to Marigold. Ooh, sometimes this things pop in my head. I don't know why. I think there's demons or spirits or something running around and they keep zapping me with their little zappies. Maybe, I don't know. But share Marigold that I am worthy to marry. And hope she sees me as a powerful person that can take care of her. So I don't want to lose this power. Because now that's like ultra important, right? What led you to become an adventurer where you are now? See below. I would actually just type everything we typed down here or the story that I was unfolding for you. I would type that in there. A couple paragraphs of, you know, the fact that father died and so what have you done? I've done farming. I've killed mother. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's funny. Father is dead. Mother is dead. Only son. No siblings. Of course, you can always change siblings. We can change anything at the time. We can add to the story, subtract to the story, or however we see fit. You see, this is why I don't write a fantasy novel, because I can't even spell siblings without screwing it up. All right, small farming community. Okay, so father dies, mysterious death. So I like that. Father dies of a mysterious death. So that could also become one adventure. Maybe I can find out more about how my father died. Right? So father died of a mysterious death. I'm stuck at the farm for a couple years. My friends have all gone off now. They're starting to get training, going to school, learning skills. I'm stuck at home. I realize that I'm not getting anywhere, but I have to do this because um, without me, you know, mother has nowhere to go. She would become an outcast. I hate to give up everything my father worked for his whole life so quickly. The dream entity comes to me. Ah, yes. Well, I can give you the power. Yes. You won't need to study. You won't need any training. I'll just give you the power. Enjoy the power. I like the power. Then the power was taken away. I'm not happy again. So I agree. All I have to do is what this entity wishes of me, and he will know. He will make it so that I'm not needed at the farm anymore. Next night, my mother dies in her sleep. Mysteriously dies in her sleep. So, current goals, maybe find out more about dreams and how they affect people. Because I want to be able to contact, I'm thinking, if I can figure out how to control dreams, and maybe I can figure out how to control this entity. So yeah, that's a pretty good start. That's a pretty good start. Of course, you can fill in a few things here or there if you think about some things, but I kind of like this character because, yeah, it's pretty interesting. You know, it's nothing crazy, so there's not going to have to be any nonsense with the other players. I don't have to do anything with them, but interesting role playing opportunities where, I'm, when I'm up uh, at watch and everyone else is asleep. I study how they sleep. And then, the next morning I can question them. Do you know that you rolled around in your sleep a lot last night? I noticed that. Why do you think that is? What were you dreaming about? I ask all these kind of questions to the other characters to kind of drive the story home that I'm trying to study dreams to try and find out more about them. And so a lot of good role playing opportunities, but it doesn't take away from this story. I think it would actually add to the story. The other players can get involved in this as well. And it can be some fun interaction back and forth, which is what you want. You don't want it to be something that annoys the other players that they have to deal with all the time, but something that they can try to help figure out, and maybe they'll be interested in trying to help me out. So if I was, this character, obviously, I would not want to tell anyone my story. I mean, I would outline this story. My father died, then my mother died. I was a farmer. I wasn't needed at home. But then I wouldn't probably tell them, the deal I made with this dream entity that, and then my mother dying because of that, or that's my feeling anyways, that my mother died because of that. And not because I wasted those times at home on the farm. I didn't have time to go to studies or training or guilds to learn a craft or anything like that. I was just given this power. So yeah, I think that's something that I think would be a pretty good character to run with a group of players right there. Of course, you could fill in a little bit more details once you had, you know, give this outline to your dungeon master, your game master. This is kind of what my background is. How does it fit into your campaign? How does it fit into your world? Do you have a good location for me that we can, use as my home village? Find a kind of fine tune a little bit here and there. And we did that all within 30 minutes. That's pretty good. So you can outline some things, get a character concept, save it, think about it for a couple days, change or alter. I mean, if we decided we wanted to become a dwarf, simply all we have to do is change some of the background information. We keep the same persona about the character, we just have to change the location. Instead of a farmer, maybe we were miners, or maybe we were craftsmen or blacksmiths. We were in a village, my father was a blacksmith. I was working the blacksmith shop with him, and then he died, and so I was doing all the blacksmithing, bringing home money for my mother, and so I might have to change the story a little bit, or some of the details if I decide, if I go, maybe I would like to be a dwarf warlock. I'm thinking warlock as opposed to a sorcerer here, because warlocks usually have some uh, deaded personality, and of course you can have the dungeon master then. If you have a good dungeon master, he can now get into the dream entity, so he can kind of figure out times for the dream entity to enter your dreams and say, "This is what you must do for me now." So all of a sudden, the party's in the middle of the dungeon, and you all of a sudden have a secondary goal the party doesn't know about, and somehow you gotta wingle wangle your way into doing that, or you know, depending on how creative your dungeon master gets. So definitely some role playing opportunities for yourself and your fellow players. Adds to this story, makes your character interesting. It kind of outlines everything that we've now got a good idea about this character, all within 30 minutes. And that's how long, 30 minutes, just sitting down thinking about it. Taking notes. Normally, I don't even take notes. I just kind of think up things in my head. And they just, once I start doing it, it spills out. Some people are different. It might take you, a couple hours to come up with some characters or whatever. If you can't come up with an idea, what you can do is just go online into Google and type in fantasy characters, and you'll come up with thousands and thousands and thousands of portraits. Just look at one of these portraits, like this dwarf here, and think to yourself, if I was going to give the history of this dwarf, what would be his history? What's his background like? Where's he from? How did he get to be in this location? How do these demons or devils or spirits or whatever you assume they are, is he controlling them? Are they controlling him? He looks pretty stern in the face. He doesn't look afraid. Is he fighting back the forces of evil? Is he negotiating with them? So you can kind of think of these things, and then, so just go online, type in, D&D characters, uh, artwork, all kinds of different searches you can do, and you just come up with thousands and thousands and thousands of different portraits of different people, and you can probably find one that you can think and say, this guy looks interesting. What's up with him? He's got some armor on, but he also, you can't see it because of my outline of my thing, but he's actually got like a book in front of him and like this object. So I wonder, what's this book? Is this object? Is he casting a spell? Is he summoning these creatures that they're not happy about? Are they his friends? How does he have power over them? How would have he gotten to this point? And that's what building a character is all about, just like we did for our character. We should probably name our character. So if you got a name for a character, put it in the comments section below. Let's see who's the most creative on coming up with a name for our character down in the chat below. It'll be interesting to see what players come up with. So there we go. We build us a character pretty much from start to finish, just off the top of our head, without any thoughts about what we're doing. If you, of course, you can outline, I want to be a cleric and I want to be a dwarf. Okay. And then you've got some basics to start with. Now you can think about, how big's your family? What kind of, was your father a priest? Was your father something else? Maybe your father was an evil priest and you resisted him and you fought against him to become a good priest. Or, maybe your father, maybe some of these demons here are some of your father's followers. And your father constantly sends demons out to test you as you become a more powerful good cleric. So, wow, that would be awesome, right? So, right there, just by looking at this portrait, we've got just a basic structure of another character we can start thinking about now. So your father was an evil priest. Who knew about that? How many people? Was he an outcast? Was he found out some way? Maybe he was found out when your mother came up missing. Or maybe your brother or sister came up missing. Or maybe your father did something bad with your brothers and sisters, or sister or brother or something like that. So, okay, so let's just think for a second. If we're working on the dwarf cleric here, now all of a sudden we're getting something. So your father was an evil. He kept pushing you to follow this God, pushing you to follow this God. But you had found some scriptures that you had read, and they didn't make sense. They talked about the good things of humanity and the light. Your father, no, he wouldn't listen to such a thing. So he resisted his teachings and his offerings. And one day, there was a sacrifice to be made, and you were the one to give the sacrifice. But you couldn't do it. You were a failure. So your father sent you to the evil convent to make sure they can convert you. But you escaped from the convent and reached the surface and joined a village of people and told them your story, and they protected you while you learned and studied the good gods, whatever gods from your world or DM is your setting is using, right? So you have now you're basically an orphan, but your father has found out now that you are becoming a powerful cleric for whatever good gut deity it is. So he sends these demons out after you. They are his own followers and worshippers. And someday your goal as an adventurer would be to confront your evil father at some point and kill him. That's pretty much what we're talking about by creating a character, right? So watch the last couple episodes where we talked about ideas about what general goals you should have in creating your character, making something that's interesting. Obviously, the dwarf whose father was a demonic priest who fought against him to become a good priest. That sounds like an interesting character right off the bat. And you can fill in the details to make something even more, filled out, more fleshed in there to make something really interesting. I'm just babbling on and just coming up with things off the top of my head, right? So that's something interesting, something that's going to play well within your setting, something that's going to be good for the party. It's not going to cause any player issues with them, right? All of a sudden, your other characters find out that, oh yeah, by the way, just while we're adventuring around, we might have some demons and devils show up occasionally to come hunt me down. So yeah, just to let you know. So that would bring some more interesting things to happen. The DM's involved in your story because he's got all kinds of wicked ideas in his brain rattling around about ways to carry your character story forward. And that's basically what you want to do when you create a character. Just create something fun and interesting that's going to play well with the other players. Get creative with the DM. The DM's now got things that he can think about. At the worst time, if someone goes and casts a summon spell, all of a sudden, instead of summoning their thing, they summon a demon with a parchment from your father. Well, son, I see you've made it now. You are a full-blown cleric from whatever god, insert god name here. I feel proud of you. Maybe his father doesn't resent him. He's proud of him. I'm proud that you have learned the ways of the gods. You've chosen the wrong god. And let me tell you, I will be sending my followers or worshippers to test you. That's all, just to test you, not to try and kill you, just to test your power. And, things like that. So, all kinds of fun to be had in that one. Yeah. So, anyways, hopefully this episode helps y'all. Creating an interesting character, it's not hard at all. Just come up with some basic core ideas and then just let your imagination flow out and just think about, like I said, if I'm looking at this picture of this dwarf, things are coming to me, and like I said, maybe this guy is the evil father here. Who knows? Of our dwarf character. All of a sudden, just by saying that one sentence, boom, I'm getting a flood of things about, okay, what's going on? This guy here is my father. what's he got going on there? Bad things. So maybe, how does my character feel about that? Maybe the father doesn't send demons and devils after him. Uh, maybe he's just watching his son from afar to see what kind of cleric he becomes. And the good cleric, the character we're playing, is finding a way to get enough power to learn about where his father is, so he can hunt them down and you know get rid of him, kill him. And son going after father dwarf. Oh man, that's epic. All right, I'm loving that storyline as the dungeon master. I'm going to be weaving that goodie into my tales for sure. All right, guys, we've gone long enough. Hopefully, this helps you understand just basic core concepts about character creation. And there's a million different things. It's only up to your imagination, but use the guidelines and everything we talked about in the last couple episodes just to kind of fill in those parts, because there's nothing worse than getting into a situation where another character asks your character a question, or the dungeon master asks you a question, or another player asks you a question, and you're, let's see, how would my character feel about that? Well, I don't really know. Uh, I haven't really thought about that. You don't know where your character's from? No, haven't really thought about that. Is he from a farm? Is he from a mine? Is he, what did he do before he became an adventurer? I don't know. I hadn't really thought about that. So just try and have some, basic. We're not filling in 20-page document here. Just 4 or 5 paragraphs worth of information. That's all. A couple names, a couple places, basic background structure, like a page. That's it. That's all you want. You don't want any more than that. You don't want to fill in too much. You don't want to have too much detail. If you put in too much detail, then your character has done too many things. So uh, just remember, everyone, if you're all enjoying this, give us a thumbs up. Let us know. And remember, what's your story? The only way to continue the stories, to find out and play. Let us know. We'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks for watching.